Today we are looking at the Spider-Man fighter from the Unmatched games. Now, Spider-Man is part of the Marvel Brains and Brawn set along with She-Hulk and Doctor Strange. Spider-Man is one of the most famous superheroes of all time, probably the biggest name from Marvel. Spider-Man is the nice young man Peter Parker who got bit by a radioactive spider and got superpowers. He also is really smart and was able to make web stuff here. And you can see the mini, how he's like swinging to do a swinging web punch. Whack! And the card we can see is really nice because we got the Spider-Man. We get like, oh, the spider sense tingling there. It's coming off really nice. And it's hard to get this on camera here. But inside this here, you can kind of see the New York skyline in it there. It looks really awesome in person. Hard to get on camera, but it looks really nice. And of course, we got like great Spider-Man art here. You know, we got the spider. Oh, look, it's another spider. It's like one of the other Spider-Man logos. Oh, so much Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Do whatever a spider can. Watch out, here comes Spider-Man. Yeah, that's right. Something like that. Now, Spider-Man is a melee fighter with a health of 15 and a move of 3 because he's Spider-Man. He's fast. Spidey sense. When an opponent attacks Spider-Man, before you play a defense card, they must tell you the printed value of their card. Whoa, that's some spider sense there, yes. So Spider-Man will be able to tell what the printed value of the card is, and that's a big deal for a number of reasons. Number one, it can tell you how big of an attack is coming and what sort of thing you should defend with, so you know if you're taking a whole bunch of damage or not. Secondly, if you know your opponent's deck, you may be able to figure out what type of card is coming based off of this here. I mean, if Dracula is coming up to you and he's like, it's a 6, you're like, I wonder what this is. It is important to point out that they are telling you the printed value, which is going to be that number up in the top left. That is not going to necessarily be the final attack value of the card. But yeah, but someone like Sinbad, throws a 2 at you, that could very well be a voyage, and, you can look at his deck and figure out, how many of them are in there to figure out the final value. If, like, Bruce Lee is throwing a 3 at you, it's a good chance it's a Jeet, and there's going to be another action coming. So, you can figure out things from people. So let's take a look at this spider deck. Spider deck. With great power. This is half of the most famous quote from all comic books. It's a scheme. All of Spider-Man's attacks this turn a +1 value. Draw a card, gain an action. So this is like a nunchaku with a card draw. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Recover 3 health. Place Spider-Man in any space in his zone. One thing to remember about this now with the new rules, whenever it says any space in the zone, it's going to have to be an empty space, which means you cannot just keep Spider-Man in the space that he is in. He's going to have to move to some other space. Swinging kick, attack of 6. Move the opposing fighter a number of spaces up to the amount of combat damage dealt. This is a 6. 6s usually deal a lot of damage because most of the time people are defending with 4s and stuff. So outside of like cancels or some of those crazy cards that can really ramp up or just ignore damage, you're usually getting at least 2 damage off of this. Could get a lot. Could move up to 6. Actually, could potentially move up to 7 spaces. And remember, once again, if you defeat a fighter and overdeal, the overdealing counts into it there. So if like a 1 health sidekick takes this undefended, even though it's effectively, just 1 damage that's effectively been done, technically you dealt 6, so you can move up to 6 spaces. Thwip! And I like having Spider-Man here with these classic, the classic unmatched circles on the art here. Oh yeah, good stuff. And the web's going over the attack symbol. Yeah. It's an attack of 4. If you want to combat, place Spider-Man in any space in his zone. So once again, Spider-Man can't be placed into the same space that he was already in. You got to place him in a different space. Disarming Shot. You'll recognize this from Robin Hood's deck. This is an attack of 4. Draw a number of cards equal to the amount of combat damage dealt to the opposing fighter. Robin Hood's Disarming Shot is where we got that ruling on the over damage that would come into effect on Swinging Kick. It would also come into effect on Disarming Shot. Counterattack. This is a defensive 3. I like that this is named like counterattack because it means this could potentially show up in some other deck. And I'd be surprised if you don't see it at some point. After combat, if the value of your opponent's card is 4 or higher, deal 2 damage to the opposing fighter. Well, that could be really good there. Be able to deal damage to the opposing fighter, especially if you were somehow able to know that their card would be 4 or higher. Oh, but you do. Look at that, because they have to tell you their values. So, yeah, if it's 4 or higher, that's a good one to throw into them, because you can deal some damage back. Web Shooters. 3 copies. Defensive 3. During combat, Spider-Man cannot take more than 2 damage this combat. Okay, so Spider-Man does not have a feint in his deck. Spoiler! No feint, no cancel. But he does have this thing here that cannot take more than 2 combat damage this combat. So if you know that they are throwing something big at you, this is the card that you toss out there, okay? If Dracula's coming at you with a 6, yeah, definitely this one here, okay? You'll be able to tell with a lot of fighters when their big thing is coming, so make sure that you hold on to these for those, because that's gonna be important, because you don't have a whole lot of great defenses, and that's one of your better ones. And smart use of Spidey Sense along with Web Shooters will do a lot for you. Spider Sense Tingling. Reversal of 2. If the value of your opponent's card is 4 or higher, draw 2 cards. Well, this is a versatile, so if you're doing this as an attack, you're just gambling that their card will be a 4 or higher. The disadvantage of using this card, along with Spider Sense, the ability to know that they have something with a 4 or higher, is that it's only a 2, so you're going to take a lot of damage. I mean, if they tell you they're throwing a 4 or a 5, you're taking some damage with it, so it's going to hurt when you throw that card out there. So, yeah, remember that. Right in the face. Reversal of 4, only 2 copies. Your opponent can't draw cards this turn. Okay, so that can, matter in some places. Like, Sinbad throws a 5 at you, you know it's a commanding impact, and you're probably just going to throw this out there, and he doesn't get his card draw. Not being able to draw cards is an odd effect to throw out at somebody. This could have really interesting interactions with, Bloody Mary, with Evade to keep her from drawing and getting back up to 3 cards in hand, because this would stop her from being able to draw that card. It's really your only 4 defense here, because your others are lower, although Web Shooters can minimize damage quite a bit. Web Crawler. This is a versatile of 3. Place Spider-Man in any space in his zone. So this is another one that lets him place someone in any space in his zone, along with, these ones here. But once again, have to go to a new space when you play that. Can't stay in the same space. Snark. This is another one that has come out of Robin Hood's deck, but we can see why it was included in Spider-Man, because Snark is, great. Reversal 3. After combat, if Spider-Man is adjacent to the opposing fighter, draw 1 card. Just a way for you to draw a card. Momentous Shift. Well, we are very familiar with Momentous Shift. Reversal of 3. During combat, if Spider-Man started this turn in a different space, the value of this card is 5 instead. I kind of like the downward Momentous Shift instead of doing it that way, which is what would be tempting. because Spider-Man may be punching at you from above because he's swinging around and what all. You could pair this with a number of those movement cards to be able to, maybe move and get that attack there. Or potentially if you think you're going to be double attacked, if getting you out of your zone doesn't get you out of the opposing fighter's zone, you play something like wall crawler, move to a space, and then set yourself up for a Momentous Shift defense of 5, which is good. So remember that. Also remember if an opponent moves you on a first action, that you get that for the second one. So let's look at this here. What cards are really good with Spider-Man's ability? Well, the counterattack here, if it's 4 or higher, you deal 2 damage to them. Spider-Man can't take more than 2 damage this combat. The value of your opponent's card is 4 or higher, draw 2 cards. These will all, Spidey Sense will basically let you know if you're going to be able to get these abilities off. So that can be really good for you there. Something like Right in the Face can be good there because that's like you're printed 4, but you got a couple copies of there, so you know what's coming at you there. It can also let you know if something like Snark or Web Crawler will be able to do a lot. It means that it's going to be harder for opponents to bait attack you with things like Regroup. I mean, if Bigfoot is attacking you with a 1, you're just like, I don't want to defend this. I mean, he's going to draw some cards, I guess, but, bait attacks can still happen. They just have to be more creative about it. I mean, they have to make sure that they're able to throw a number at you that looks like something else that's in their hand or in their deck. So they may attack you with like some versatiles that they generally don't, just to see if they can make you think it's something else coming at you. So Spidey Sense does not give you perfect knowledge, but it gives you pretty good knowledge. But your defenses are kind of weaker, and you don't have any cancels on there. You do have this here that kind of caps damage at 2 over. Which against certain fighters, that can be a really big deal. And it's going to make Spider-Man interesting. It also means that Spider-Man, as his ability is stated on here, does not work naturally with Unmatched Adventures, because you're not going to be able to have your opponent tell you the number of their defense, because it's not a person there. You're playing against an automated thing there, so you'd have to have one of your other teammates who isn't going to help you pick a card, peek at it and tell you the number or something. So it makes him one that's just a little bit problematic with that, although there's ways to play around that. So anyway, that is a look at Spider-Man. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and a like. You can go down into the comments section and leave me any thoughts that you have about it down in there. And you can also subscribe to my channel. Make sure to catch all the videos I post so you don't miss anything. I'm Poindexter G, and we will see you around next time.